Hi, I'm Chef Jason Ford, Food Ambassador for the South Burnett region, which is just a short 3-hour drive north of Brisbane. I'm also a cookery instructor for TAFE Queensland. Now, I first met CC and Greg from Peterson Farm at the Gameri Pumpkin Festival quite a few years ago. And Gameri borders on the Gympie region and the South Burnett region, and I found myself doing some cooking demonstrations with a well-known chef, Matt Galinsky. And Matt Galinsky is the Gympie Regional Food Ambassador, and I'm the South Burnett Regional Food Ambassador. So we were just cooking together, utilising products from our region. That's where I met CC from CC's Kitchen. She provided us with various ingredients from her Rosella conserves right through to all her fresh fruit and vegetables. I immediately loved CC. She was just such a wonderful, warm spirit. I've kept in touch with her ever since, and last year, for the very first time, I performed cooking demonstrations live at the Big Rosella Festival at Waluga. Unfortunately, because of our social distancing restrictions, that festival sadly was cancelled for this year until CC phoned me and gave me the exciting news that she was going to do something very innovative and do a virtual Big Rosella Festival, which includes tours, live stream through Facebook, through the farm, and also cooking demonstrations from up to 10 Queensland chefs, including myself, Matt Galinsky, and other chefs like Dan and Steph, who you've seen recently on MKR. So I've got a couple of cooking demonstrations. I'll get stuck into one now. For this first cooking demonstration, I'll be making a vegetable curry, which I'll be serving with some steamed brown rice, using all the fantastic regional produce from Peterson's Farm, freshly picked. This stuff was picked just yesterday. I'll serve that with some coconut yogurt and some pickled mango from CC's Kitchen. And as a side dish, I'll use a lot of these greens, these legumes and leafy greens, and do a sautéed side dish with that. So we'll actually get started by heating our frying pan on a medium to high heat. We'll put some olive oil in there. You don't want to overheat that too much. Olive oil doesn't necessarily like being heated up too much. It's got a low smoking point, but it definitely is good for sautéing. We'll begin by adding some finely diced onion. We need that to start sweating off, which means it needs to cook gently so that it becomes translucent, soft, tender and sweet. Gets rid of a lot of that acidity from it. We'll stir that as well. One of the fantastic ingredients I was given from Peterson's Farm yesterday was this ginger. This here is referred to as a hand of ginger. As you can see, it's got all the little knobs that come off that look like little fingers. All right, so what I've done is I've actually peeled that ginger. You can do that with a knife, or you can just scrape it off with a spoon. I'll use my fine grater. Grate it just so I don't have the little strings that you get in ginger. Although I must admit, this is a beautiful tender knob of ginger I have here. So I'll just grate that a little bit. We want some of that peppery, citrus, aromatic that you get from your ginger. I'll scrape that off, add it to my onions. Give it a stir around. And this is where you can actually now turn the heat down a little bit, because we're going to start adding our other ingredients. Got some mustard seeds here, probably about a tablespoon. And you will find all these recipes. There'll be a link in the description of this video that will take you to the actual recipes with the exact amount of ingredients. Mustard seeds will cook into there. Also, we'll add some turmeric powder. We want these spices to toast and refresh and take on that full aromatic. And I actually have my assistant off to the side here. She's actually peeled some garlic for me. Whereabouts is that garlic, my love? Thank you very much. It's my wife, Karen. Thank you very much, Karen. These are little purple garlics, baby purple garlics that came from Peterson's farm. I'm really just going to slice those. They're so tender. You don't need to necessarily crush these. I'll just add a couple of these to it. You don't always have to chop garlic up fine. I know a lot of recipes ask for that, but you don't have to. So the garlic, that's toasted in there now. We'll add our pumpkin, coat that pumpkin nicely in all those aromatics and spices. Oh, that smells fantastic. I guess the only difference between a virtual Rosella festival and a real Rosella festival is you're not necessarily getting the smell wafting into the audience. However, have a go at making this at home and you'll actually know exactly how amazing it smells. Got some crushed tomatoes. There's about 400 grams of crushed tomatoes. This actually removes all those beautifully toasted spice sediments off the bottom of the pan, so it actually gets incorporated into the dish. We have about 400 mils. It's just a can of coconut cream here. We'll add that as well. And you might notice I'm not adding any vegetables, I'm not adding any chicken stock or anything. I'm just going to make this a vegetable-based curry, so really anyone can have that. We're going to let this come up to a simmer now. Before we add our chickpeas, I've got tinned chickpeas here. They're basically already sort of soaked and cooked and already quite tender, so they don't need to be added until our pumpkin has softened a little bit as well. We've also got some eggplants. I've already got some pre-diced. This is beautiful little purple eggplants that come from Peterson's farm. In the meantime, while this is gently cooking, and just to speed things along, I'll add a lid to that. I'm going to make sure I keep my eye on that as well so that it doesn't get caught on the bottom, but it's just simmering gently anyway. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll make some sauteed greens that can go on the side. We've got some rice already cooking in a rice cooker out the back as well. I'll start warming that frying pan up. Now, some of the amazing ingredients that I got from Peterson Farm here, some of these beautiful greens is, we've got some choy sum here. It's even got some little yellow flowers on that there. They're beautiful, those little yellow flowers. We'll incorporate those into the dish as well. I want to make this fairly rustic, so I'm actually not going to play around with these ingredients too much. I'll just cut off those little stalks there. Cut it into maybe 2-3 inch pieces. Put that aside. What else have we got? We've got some snow peas here. We'll add those as well. Snow peas, you've actually got to remove that little string. I'll actually get the camera to come in nice and close and we can actually watch that string being removed. We weren't having some little technical issues, were we? Okay. This is the strings being removed. I guess it depends how tender they really are. You could possibly leave it in, it depends, but quite often that string you see there, that can be a little bit hard to chew through. I'll show you another one there. It peels off there. So we'll actually add some more of those snow peas. I'll actually pass these over to my beautiful assistant over here so you can remove those for me as well. And I'll grab those green beans. And over here we have just our basic green beans. These are just so crisp and fresh. Amazing. I know that when they're picking these off the vine, they find themselves picking 3 and eating 1, picking 3 and eating 1 as they go. Butter beans, we'll add those as well. I think what I'll do is I'll basically just cut those in half. So really this is just lots of fresh greens and leaves and legumes that we're going to saute off. What else have we got here? I thought also what I might do now, another idea is also to add to our curry. Now these are curry leaves. We get a nice little close-up shot of those curry leaves as well. This particular one has about 20 individual leaves on it. Let's just add all of those to it. A nice natural curry flavour. These ones are nice and tender as well, so they'll cook nicely.
There's your snow peas.
Thank you so much.
Done.
Thank you. Karen's wonderful. She's always there in the background. Okay, that heat's starting to come up now. It's actually starting to very shortly come to a simmer. My snow peas off to the side. What else have we got here? Look, there's so many things I could actually add to this. We got herbs and spices, but I'll save a lot of those ingredients for another cooking demonstration I'm going to do later on with a fantastic salad that I'm going to do. So what we'll do is we'll actually get this pan heated up a little bit more now. We'll add some olive oil. But really you could use peanut oil, you could use vegetable oils. I've just got some olive oil here, and I've also got a little bit of sesame oil. Be a little bit careful. You don't really want to fry in the sesame oil so much because it can burn. It's more just for an aromatic flavour. Swirl that around. And I think also, again, I will add some garlic to this recipe. So we'll take some of our purple garlic. Just slice that. Start that frying. There's a little bit of a sizzle there. We can get that caramelising a little bit actually, which would be fantastic. So we've got the aromatics of the garlic and the sesame oil coming up from the frying pan. We'll start with our slightly firmer ingredients here, which are our butter beans and green beans. I will add a little bit of water to this later just so that steam comes up. Because you can't necessarily cook these right through by frying. You've got to have a little bit of steam, a little bit of moisture to go up through them. Our leaves, you really only want the leaves to wilt, so they'll be the last thing we add. Snow peas, they don't actually take too long to cook either. Now let's have a look at our curry here. Okay, that's simmering beautifully. Give that a bit of a stir. We'll even test that pumpkin a little bit because the firmness or softness of the pumpkin is going to let us know how this is going. I think really this takes somewhere between say 15 to 20 minutes for that pumpkin to start cooking through. So what we'll do now is we'll add our chickpeas. These are tinned chickpeas. You could soak chickpeas overnight if you wanted to, but I actually find that it's just a little more convenient sometimes just to use the tinned chickpeas. We'll add those to the curry. Also here, this is that fantastic eggplant that I got from CC yesterday. I've actually just diced that. That's about a 1 centimetre dice. Add that to the curry. Stir that in. Really, this is a vegetable curry, so you can really add whatever vegetables you want. You could add some legumes and beans and lentils, whatever you wanted. Okay, I'm getting a lot of nice sizzling saute. And that French word saute, actually, it's a French word for jumping. So it's when the food items are jumping around the pan so that they're completely coated in the oil, cooking on all sides. This is where I'll add some snow peas to that. Get those cooking. They don't take quite as long. They have a quicker cooking time. Pop the lid back on my curry, just get the heat going through that. And really the aroma here is just fantastic. And I'm going to have to get my assistant to go and look for some cashew nuts for me, which I think we have in a esky out the back.
What you prepared earlier, Chef?
Yes, thank you very much, Chef. I should actually add that my wife Karen is a qualified chef. So she's very familiar with what I'm doing here.
Perfect assistant.
These are our, thank you, these are our raw cashew nuts. You know, we could use toasted cashew nuts as well, but I've actually come to really appreciate the soft creaminess of our raw cashew nuts. So that's just something I do, but feel free to put peanuts in there if you wanted to. But in this particular case, yeah, very fond of the raw cashew nuts. Okay, we've had a little bit of heat go through those snow peas now. I'm going to add our choy sum. Like I said, it's got those beautiful yellow flowers in there, which will show up through the dish. Looks like the pan's quite overloaded, but really what we do is we add some water. Once that water hits the pan, you get quite a nice sizzle and steam coming up. You could put a lid on if you wanted to, just to catch some of that steam. But that steam will cook all the way up through and wilt our greens and also evaporate away as well. And this is just going to be a fantastic side dish to accompany our curry. Now really, when you go out and visit Peterson's farm, which is actually open to the public at the moment, they actually have their store at the front, so you can go and get all the latest in-season fruits and vegetables. Fantastic. It's going to vary what you find at any particular time of the year, just depending on the season. But usually there's an assortment of fruits, always lots of legumes, tomatoes, some amazing tomatoes of every kind of colour, and right now, of course, just the fantastic plump dark red rosellas. We'll be cooking with those later as well. Okay, so these greens, they are coming along just fine. I'll crank that heat up so that that moisture will evaporate away. It's a good opportunity for me to season. Just some sea salt. I found myself working recently doing some cooking demonstrations with Adrian Richardson. He does a TV show called Good Chef, Bad Chef. He loves salt, so he has a saying, salt loves meat, meat loves salt. Our cooking demonstrations with Adrian, there was salt everywhere, all over the floor. That stage was an absolute mess by the time we were finished. It was just easier just for us to take a fire hose and just hose everything off, basically. We'll add some pepper to that. I should say a shout out to Adrian if he ends up watching this video as well. Hi Adrian. So we will toss those wilted vegetables, and they are coming along great. Now, this is a sort of an Indian style of dish, so you really don't want to go crazy with Asian flavours, but if you wanted this to be more of an Asian flavoured dish, you could add some soy sauce. You could add some fish sauce if you wanted to. I've just added the sea salt for my seasoning, trying to keep this really simple and just accentuate the natural fresh flavours. Keep these green vegetables crisp and al dente. Al dente obviously is a term used to say that it's cooked, but still firm and still has a little bit of crunch to it. Now our curry is also coming along really good. What we could also do is leave the lid off now, because we want that curry to start to evaporate away so that its sauce will naturally thicken. And of course, what we can do, very important, is we always season. So we'll add some seasoning now, some sea salt. We can add some pepper to it as well. In our greens, and add some cashew nuts, just for a bit of crunch. And I will get my assistant to go and grab some steamed brown rice, which is going to be an accompaniment for this dish.
Your assistant with your hands still.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
That's beautiful, nice, fluffy. Now I really do like brown rice. You know, I often don't eat white rice anymore. I just find it's a little on the bland side. But certainly if you like white rice, definitely serve this curry with white rice. I just love the extra flavour, and the brown rice seems to just pop in your mouth when you eat it. I really enjoy that experience. So these days I tend to really only have brown rice. And it can be used also, brown rice can be used for a lot of things. It can be used for fried rice, and I've even heard that some people have made, believe it or not, sushi out of brown rice, which I haven't personally done, but I would like to give that a go. Okay, so we can turn those green leaves off there. Fantastic. And our curry is coming along. We just want to test out the pumpkin and see that it's actually coming apart, and it is. All right, so now we actually can serve this up. We have our brown rice, which we can serve in a bowl on the side. We can serve up our curry. Lots of colours in here. It has those fresh curry leaves in there. And there's probably, I'd say, in this particular recipe, there's maybe 4 serves in here, but I'm being quite generous with this one here. We'll give that plate a little bit of a wipe off. We also have our greens. We can put some of those on the side. I think I'll get a larger plate. These are our sauteed greens. It's just a nice fresh accompaniment to go with that curry. A little bit of cashew crunch as well. And also on our curry, if it's a little spicy, we can add, this is coconut yogurt. You could add just your normal dairy yogurt if you'd like. And also some fresh coriander leaves. You can tear up on top there. So there you have it. That's our vegetable curry with pumpkins from Peterson's farm. We've got chickpeas, coconut. We've got some brown rice and just these beautiful sauteed greens of snow peas, choy sum, cashew nuts, green beans, and we also have butter beans in there. So everyone, if you want to cook these recipes yourself, just go to the description at the bottom of this video. You'll find a link to these recipes and more. Have a go at it yourself. I will be doing 2 cooking demonstrations, so have a little bit of a look for when CC has my other video streaming. Enjoy the first annual Big Rosella Virtual Festival, and I hopefully will be back at Waluga next year for the real face-to-face festival with an audience under a marquee. Thanks for watching.